Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. And today I wanted to review some sunscreens. It's the month of August, we're all hanging out at the beach. It's my favorite month, it's my birthday month. So I wanted to go over some natural sunscreens because there are hundreds of sunscreens out in the market and it's really hard to know which ones are good, which ones are not so good. And I think I have a lot of experience with sunscreen. So I've actually been wearing sunscreen since I was about 5 years old. I grew up living in Florida, saw lots of people suffering from skin cancer, and my parents were always like, hey, if you're outside, you need to be wearing sunscreen. So I also have the experience of being a chemist. So I'm a graduate student and I'm studying chemistry. So I actually know what's in my sunscreen and know what it does and if it's harmful or good for you. So I want to go over the 3 sunscreens that I've been using the most over the past several years. The first one I want to start with is this guy here by UV Natural. So this sunscreen is one that I started using in high school, and why I started using it was the ingredients list. I don't know if you can see it here. Very short. I will post all the ingredients of the sunscreens in the description bar below, and I will also include their price and where you can purchase them. But this guy, it says SPF 30+, and one of the things to note about this is the sunscreen is made in Australia, and they have different laws on how you can label the SPF in sunscreen in Australia. The maximum SPF that you can legally put on a bottle is 30. So ones like these can actually be higher than 30, but the max they can say in Australia is 30. The pros and the cons of this guy. The pros, it only contains zinc oxide, so it's a completely physical sunscreen. There are no harmful chemicals in it that are acting as the sun protectant. These are a lot better, especially if you have any sorts of allergies or sensitive skin. I can't wear chemical sunscreens because it makes my skin burn, especially on my face, makes my eyes burn. It's not good. Really terrible. So I like this guy for that reason. And also the ingredients that make it like a lotion are things like oils of grapeseed, macadamia nut extract. Those are all pretty good. I don't mind putting those on my skin. But here's the problem with this guy. So when you get it out, it looks like this. It's kind of got a creamy white texture to it. Problem with this guy is it doesn't really rub in that well. If you put it on, you can kind of rub it in, but you can see it's shiny where it was. And the worst part about it is you think you've rubbed it in. You think it's good, you put on your clothes, and then you see sunscreen all over your clothes. This happens to me, and it's a pain to get out of your clothing. It takes a lot of scrubbing. Also, it gets all over the seats of my car. Not so good. So I started thinking, all right, there's got to be a better sunscreen out there than this guy. I mean, it's good, does its job. I've been wearing this since high school. Like I said, I've never gotten sunburned. So I was like, all right, well, we can do better. We can do better. We can get one that doesn't get all over my clothing because, you know, who likes doing laundry? I certainly don't. So then we move to this guy. This guy, I always thought this was really cute. So it's by the brand Poofy Supernaturals, and it is cruelty-free. I think this guy is as well. I will double check on whether this is cruelty-free, but this one definitely is. And it's got this really cute little vampire on the back. It says vampire proof, so I was like, I am a vampire. Very, very pale. I mean, I can blend it with this couch back here. So I was like, this guy sounds good. So this is also a zinc oxide sunscreen, and it is non-nano. This one contains nanoparticles, this one does not. What nanoparticles are smaller chunks of zinc oxide. So a nanoparticle, just for scale, there are 1 million nanometers, unit of measure here, nanometers, in a centimeter. A centimeter is already pretty small. So these nanoparticles are very, very tiny particles. The problem with those can be sometimes they can be more reactive than things that are in a larger chunk. Seems weird, I know, but things on a nanometer scale can be more reactive than, things on a centimeter scale or a micron scale. But there isn't really any proof of whether or not that's good or bad for sunscreen. But because there is a concern about it, if you are really worried, you can go with a non-nano one and you won't have to worry about that. If the sunscreen says zinc oxide or titanium dioxide and it doesn't say if it's non-nano, then it means that it is nano. So unless it specifically says, like on here, non-nano, then otherwise it will be nano. I thought this guy was pretty good. So when I got it, the thing I noticed about it is it smells like a drug food or not a drug food store, sorry, a health food store. There was this health food store in my town. When you'd go in, it smelled kind of herby and natural. That's what this guy smells like. But the scent goes away. That wasn't the problem with it. And the good news is it rubs in. Rubs in really well. So here's what it looks like. It looks like kind of the stuff you see that they put on the lifeguard's nose, the really white stuff. That is the one problem with this, is it does leave a white cast on your skin. And the fact that I can even notice a white cast, it's pretty significant. So it is a serious white cast. But the good thing about it is it does not get all over your clothing. So I could put it on like this, put on my clothes. I don't have stains all over my clothes. I don't see it on the seats of my car. So that part was good. Now for the negative. The negative of this guy is sometimes it comes out, or here, I'm going to show you. This is the tube I already have open right now. Or it doesn't come out. You can see I'm squeezing really hard and it's just, there's like this little tip at the top here, but it's just not going to come out. And here's why. Let's see if I can show you. Let's see. All right, I separated a little bit here. So if you can see this little bit right up here on my finger, that is a clump. So this sunscreen, it clumps in the tube. And what happens is it clogs the little hole right here where the sunscreen comes out of. That's why I can't get any out right now. I can squeeze it, but it's just not going to come because there's a clump that's clogged up the little hole. And that is super tedious to get sunscreen out because, if you're going to the beach, you got to put it on your arms, your back, your stomach, your legs. It's a lot of you to cover. That is really annoying. And the only way I've been able to figure out how to make this work is to stick a pair of tweezers down inside of it and kind of like push the clog back down and then squeeze it again. The problem is the clog just keeps coming back. It took me forever to put on sunscreen and it was really frustrating and it's the last thing you... So, I kind of had it with that guy. So then I went back to using this guy, but then it started getting my clothes again and I was like, now I remember why I didn't like this one either. So then I found this guy. So this guy is by the brand Loving Naturals. Not to be confused with UV Natural. Loving Naturals. This guy is also cruelty-free and is uncoated non-nano zinc. So this is just pure large chunks of zinc oxide. So I was like, all right, I can get on board with this guy. This is pretty good. So this guy, let me show you what it looks like. So it's definitely more liquidy in consistency. It doesn't have as much of a white cast as this guy does. And also it rubs into your skin. So I'm actually wearing, that's what I have on over all my skin right now because I never leave the house without sunscreen. And it absorbs. So at first you'll see it and it'll be a little bit greasy, but give it an hour or so and it'll be completely gone. I actually like the fact that it's a little greasy when you first put it on because then I know I didn't miss a spot. You can see exactly where you have it and where you don't have it. That might not be the best thing, but that's what I really like about it. Also, doesn't have much of a smell either. Let me get it better. Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't have much of a scent. So if you're sensitive to smell or yeah, this guy is a good option for that. I can get on board with this guy. This is pretty good. So this guy, let me show you what it looks like. So it's definitely more liquidy in consistency. It doesn't have as much of a white cast as this guy does. And also it rubs into your skin. So I'm actually wearing, that's what I have on over all my skin right now because I never leave the house without sunscreen. And it absorbs. So at first you'll see it and it'll be a little bit greasy, but give it an hour or so and it'll be completely gone. I actually like the fact that it's a little greasy when you first put it on because then I know I didn't miss a spot. You can see exactly where you have it and where you don't have it. That might not be the best thing, but that's what I really like about it. Also, doesn't have much of a smell either. Let me get it better. Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't have much of a scent. So if you're sensitive to smell or, yeah, this guy is a good option for that. I really highly recommend this guy, the Loving Naturals. Out of all these three, this one is definitely my favorite. But all these three work really well. Like I said, I've never been sunburned using any of them. Of course, you do need to reapply, as they say in the directions, especially if you've been out in the pool or at the beach in the water, then you want to reapply. But otherwise, these are really great. And I hope that you found this useful. And if you did like this video, please be sure to subscribe and also give me a thumbs up. And in the comments section below, if you'd like to see other natural products for beauty, if you have anything that you'd really like to know more about, then let me know and I will check those out for you. All right, have a great day. Bye.